Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. My name is Josh Blaylock, and this is the Skype for Business recap. This week, we are going to be taking a turn from the normal way of doing things where I will gather up kind of all the news from around the week. And instead, this is going to kind of be a special edition geared more towards the announcements made at Enterprise Connect during the Microsoft Skype keynote, essentially there. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you put out some sort of tool update or had some awesome information or came across something else that you really feel something should have been touched on this week, please let me know, throw it my way. I'd be happy to try to find some way to cram some of these in next week. But I just didn't feel there was going to be enough time to dive into a ton of topics with all that was announced at Enterprise Connect 2016 this week. So that's where the priority is laying today. Now, of course, as always, this was, if you weren't at Enterprise Connect, they were broadcasting it. They did a Skype meeting broadcast for it. And as usual, there is a link to that. So I'm going to include that link in the YouTube video description so that you can go back and watch the actual keynote if you want to and get demonstrations of their announcements and all that. But I'm going to try my best to just cover the various topics that they had there and talk about them a little bit, give a very topical overview of what's coming. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm aiming for today. And the good news is that it's Friday and I'm actually recording today on Friday like I should be. Video's not going to be 3 days late this time. So, hey, good stuff there, right? The only downside is the last video you had to sit there and suffer through was only a few days ago. So, sorry about that. But all right, traditional sip of coffee, and let's dive right in, shall we? Okay, so Enterprise Connect. Very big conference that happens every year. And at Enterprise Connect 16, you know, you have vendors from all over the place. You've got Microsoft, you've got Polycom, Cisco, all the big names, and then a bunch of the small names, people who are players of any kind within this unified communications realm. Finding new and unique ways to enhance collaboration and between people within an organization or between organizations. And that can bring integration to various product types just to make it a smoother work experience all the way around. I mean, the name Enterprise Connect is a pretty self-explanatory title, I would think. It's a little more explanatory than like Microsoft Ignite. You know, that sounds cool, but are we going to light something on fire or what's the deal here? You know, so at any rate, Enterprise Connect happened this week, kind of a week-long deal there. And the Microsoft keynote, pretty much all about Skype for Business and Office 365 stuff, was delivered by Zig Serafin, who is the corporate VP at Microsoft for Skype. So Zig's a pretty well-known name amongst us in the community, and he got up on stage and kind of dove right into the keynote there, handed it off to a few different people for different segments and different demonstrations. But he did a great job delivering some very cool and exciting news all the way around. The first thing here, sometimes I tell you guys why I keep looking over to the side and sometimes I don't. I probably should really just try to get a display behind me or something at some point. But I have my display over to the side here and this has all my notes on it. I have my OneNote document up, and so I step through that and I reference it frequently throughout the show. So sorry if it looks like I keep looking away. At any rate, the first item that Zig dove into there was the PSTN Conferencing is now available in 17 additional countries. This brings the total number of countries that have PSTN Conferencing available up to 32. Very cool announcement. They're getting more and more out there globally. More and more countries are able to start taking advantage of the services offered in Office 365 and Skype for Business Online. I'm going to really quick here rattle off the names of these 17 new countries who now have the option of grabbing PSTN Conferencing as a license in the Office 365 portal. In alphabetical order, we've got Austria, Brazil, Bulgaria, Croatia, the Czech Republic, Estonia, Greece, Ireland, Japan, Luxembourg, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Singapore, Slovakia, Slovenia, and South Korea. So congratulations to all of you countries. You now have the option of getting PSTN conferencing. Sorry, North Korea, you may end up having to wait a bit longer there if there's even plans. A little bit of political stuff there, I'm sure. At any rate, these 17 countries join a longer list to total it to 32 now, so that's very cool. We're really making some progress on where PSTN conferencing is available for purchase. Now, having local dial-in numbers is a little different than being able to purchase the conferencing license. Your users may have to go through purchasing stuff in Poland, but perhaps you have people in other little areas, other smaller countries around there that don't have the service available yet, but you'd really rather not have long distance numbers being dialed for conferencing. You can pull local dial-in numbers from other countries aside from where the service is available. The goal here is to have 60 countries by the end of this month. So by the end of March, they want to have 60 countries they should have 60 countries with local dial-in numbers, and they're going to bump that number to 100 by the end of June, they say. And with any luck, we might even have local dial-in numbers on Mars by the end of the year. Okay, I apologize. I'm kind of in a little bit of a jokey mood this morning, so some of it's cheesy, some of it's, whatever. But at any rate, no local and dial-in for Mars quite yet. We'll just disregard that piece. Moving on, new Cloud PBX features. In a couple of previous episodes, we have touched on the Cloud Connector Edition, and I don't have time to dive into all of what that is. So if you're not sure what that is, maybe reference a couple other of my Skype for Business recap episodes where you see that in the title, or look it up. There's some documentation on there. But Cloud Connector Edition is finally going GA in April. So very cool, very exciting. There's already some really good documentation from third parties and bloggers out there who are starting to piece together a really good solid picture of how to deploy this and what it looks like, planning, prerequisites, etc. So very exciting news there. Also, they're getting ready to release the Organizational Auto Attendant, which will provide automatic handling of your calls and also brings speech recognition to the table within Cloud PBX, all in Office 365, all in the cloud. Auto Attendant. That is cool. We're getting more and more enterprise-like up in Office 365, so this is exciting stuff. The next item, PSTN Calling Preview, which has only been the US so far. The preview is being made available in the UK starting in May. So we're going outside US borders with PSTN Calling now and bringing that functionality to the UK. Again, this is going to be preview. However, you don't have to wait until May to sign up. You can sign up for the preview now, and I will include a link in the YouTube video description for the preview site, so you can go and get signed up if you want to do that for your organization and start kicking the tires in the United Kingdom. So, good announcement there. This was probably the biggest headline that I saw, both in the keynote and people talking about it, the enthusiasm and excitement on Twitter and LinkedIn afterwards. Project Rigel. So this is a cool little project that they've been kicking the tires on here and working on. This project is based on Microsoft Surface Hub technology pretty much. And what the goal here is that there are a number of conference rooms throughout the country, throughout the world, that have either a simple projector or a big, display set up in the conference room, and then just maybe a phone on the desk for dial-in conferencing, etc. And while that's great for your typical generic conferences that used to be what you strived for. Today, we strive for so much more. We strive for much more rich collaboration and interaction. We want our people to be able to share content, to do audio and video, all on the same screen. Share your screen. This is the kind of stuff that we want to strive for in the conference room and outside of it. For some of these conference rooms that are still old school, where people can't just afford to go replacing projectors and displays in every conference room all over the world, Project Rigel really seeks to bridge that gap a little bit. And what it does, is it brings a Windows 10 center of the room device that's something like the Surface, and it's it's touchscreen. So they're putting something like a Surface or the Surface in the center of the room, and it's touchscreen. You control everything about your Skype meeting from this touchscreen, and it will be sent over to the display or the projector or whatever we're connecting up here. So that's super awesome. We're bringing that Skype for Business meeting feel to these older pieces of hardware that are probably not going to be leaving the conference room anytime soon. Let's talk a little bit more about what this overall experience is going to look like and how it's going to be accomplished. First, there's a couple big vendors who are big partners in this project, Polycom and Logitech. They're both in the process of certifying various devices that are already within their portfolio that will be used within the new Project Rigel systems. On the Polycom side, the two devices that they're getting certified are the Trio and the CX5100. The Trio is very popular, but talked about a ton. A lot of people are trying to get their hands on them. Very good move on their part to get the Trio in that Project Rigel mix there. So that's the Polycom side. On the Logitech side, the devices that they're working on certifying are the Conference Cam Connect, the Conference Cam Group, and the PTZ Pro camera. Admittedly, I'm not going to dive too much into any of those because I'm sorry to say I don't have a lot of experience or knowledge or hands-on with the Logitech devices for the conference room. But if you're using any of those devices and are looking at Project Rigel with some interest, there is good news. Logitech is trying to certify them for the system and should, I'm sure they will have it certified if it was announced at EC Connect by Zig himself. So that's coming down the pipe. Logitech is also trying to crank out a smart dock that will bring seamless integration and connectivity between all the various Project Rigel components in the room. Your old display or projector, the Surface itself that can dock there, and then any other endpoints that are connecting up to that. The devices I just mentioned from Polycom and Logitech or any other conferencing-like devices can all kind of be brought into this central dock where you'll put that Surface, and there you have central control with that Surface over the whole experience, bringing a complete Skype for Business experience to that conference room. Very powerful, very awesome stuff, and we are very excited to see it come to market. Polycom is also working on a bit of something there, a kind of a more complete system for Project Rigel. So not just a dock that brings it all together, but they're working on maybe the overall system picture there. I'm not sure if that's going to include the actual center of the room touchscreen device or what that's going to include. If that will be the only component they don't touch and they touch the rest, I'm not sure, but we will know in the second half of 2016. All these devices are supposed to be making their way to market sometime the second half of 2016. So, as excited as you are, you need to just cool your jets a bit, and it'll get here. It'll get here in a few months. All right, moving on from Project Rigel, we have the other announcement here was connecting VTCs, video teleconferencing units, to the Office 365 meeting experience. That's pretty cool. These traditional VTCs that are sitting in our conference rooms, bringing video to the experience, being able to work with Office 365, that really just not only opens your doors in Office 365 a bunch more, but creates a much more fluid picture for your whole environment. That's an awesome thing. First within this category, we got Polycom's Real Presence Group Series is going to be receiving an update that will bring the integration with Office 365 meetings, and it will also provide a familiar Skype meeting experience via the user interface. So whereas Polycom's got a very intuitive, nice user face on many of their devices, we're going to be able to get an actual Skype meeting experience, user interface look and feel on these devices. So that's pretty huge, and that's a cool development there. Nice work, Polycom. Looking forward to seeing that. They're also going to be providing, and this is a pretty big deal, Cloud Video Interoperability Service that is going to be hosted in Microsoft's cloud. And what this does is it's going to open the door to a wide range of existing VTCs, including some Polycoms and Ciscos, so that they can connect with your Skype for Business online meetings. So you don't have to have, you don't have to have a specific, you do have to have a specific, you're not going to be able to just connect any VTC, I'm sure, through this interoperability service, but the goal is to connect as many as possible. So if you're running Cisco or Polycom and possibly other vendors out there that may be working, you should be able to use this service hosted in the cloud of Polycoms to connect to your Skype meeting broadcast or your Skype meeting experience and create one fluid experience across the organization regardless of the type of vendor you're using in different conferencing rooms. That is powerful. That is awesome. That opens the doors not only within an organization but between organizations. Very cool stuff. And again, with this is the target for this is the second half of 2016. So again, cool your jets, it's coming. Lastly, they talked about a unified reporting and analytics experience for Skype for Business Online in Office 365. For those of you that might recall, fairly recently, there was a little bit of a headline out there when Microsoft purchased, quote unquote, the underlying technology of Event Zero's UC Commander tool. They did not purchase UC Commander as their own. They did not purchase Event Zero. They purchased the underlying technology of UC Commander, which is an incredible and very, very in-depth reporting and analytics tool to augment your Link or Skype for Business server environment, I might say. So this tool is just amazing. So now if you're going into Office 365 and you're using Skype for Business Online, if you've spent any amount of time within the control panel for Skype for Business Online, you would know that you can do some things, but there is much to be desired as far as the functionality you have in the control panel. You get a bit more via PowerShell, but there's really not a lot going on in terms of getting in-depth reporting and analytics to troubleshoot issues, monitor call quality, things like that. Microsoft is going to be, it appears, leveraging this purchase that they made earlier this year and starting to put those pieces into work in the Skype for Business online control panel. Very excited to see what that looks like and how they took advantage of this tool, because it is an amazing tool. So very cool stuff, very exciting things. I wish that I had more time today to really dive into other news and other things that are going on in the community. Again, please send me a note if there was something that you thought really should have been called out this week outside of Enterprise Connect, and I would be happy to follow up next week maybe. It's just, yeah, there was a lot to yap through here. So with that, I'm about done though. It is time to wrap this up and kick my day off, and I hope you all have had a good and exciting week and have a restful weekend ahead of you. For those of you here in the U.S., I believe most places are starting to enjoy some warmer weather. It's actually in the 70s here today. It's beautiful. So hopefully you can enjoy some warmer weather this weekend as things kind of start to thaw out and spring is starting to bloom in some places. And yeah, have a restful weekend. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you back here next Friday. Thank you, and adios.